Thank you, Matt. I was just on the phone to Noel McCutcheon, former Chief Stipendiary Steward. He had a hat missing. He's found it. Bevan Sweeney there looking amazing. And Noel passes on his regards. Let's push on and let's set up the race day with the first on the program and check out the market for it. Of course, we need to start the day by backing a winner. Bevan's already backed a winner before the program has begun. Jamie's at $5.50, $6.50 Smokehouse Bay, 7 for Tom Brown and Hot Fuss, $9.50. Stephen Hunt, any action here?
Very loose favourite to kick off the program with Jamie, number 2 in the book at $5.50. It's really been indicative of these rating 65s over the carnival, Jason. Very competitive, even market. Best lead I can give is Jamie, the favourite, at $5.50 off a peak of $6. Pittman's stable had 3 individuals in this particular race. Jamie, the best back out of those 3. A little bit of specking for the stablemate, number 14, Anzac Coupe. Second up on the back of a first up performance last Saturday. Punters believe natural improvement there at $13, currently a losing result. Tom Brown, a new include to the carnival, has been well specced, $7.50 into 7. And a little bit of money also for Smokehouse Bay in that second line of betting at $6.50. But very competitive affair to kick off the first. Best lead, the favourite, in Jamie at a $5.50 price tag.
How does the pace stack up? Here is the Form Pro speed map for this 1400 metre rating 65. Jamie, one of the horses that is drawn to also go forward. You can see SBD there with Splendior. Hannah Marine with Lulawai there sitting just behind, or mapped to sit just behind. Carson River, a good chance, and same with Tom Brown, but they're not ideally drawn. But I guess track pattern will be the key. You'd think that it'll be rather even and that they'll be happy to come off the rail and that it'll be okay. Matthew Cross, Bevan Sweeney, your thoughts on the first?
Well, it's the race that we really want to see how the track's going to play, Jason. We get to 1,400 metres for the first time, and we're going to get a really good lead in terms of how the weather's played since Wednesday through to today, Bevan, and I think that's going to be the key. But in saying that, we've still got to try and find some winners. What have you found? Well,
I went with the favourite just because I felt as though it was a speed map special in this particular race with its early gate speed. I thought it would get into a trailing position. I thought there was a lot of speed. I thought there'd be pressure out wide. I thought there would be a 3-wide train here. So a couple of horses drawn awkwardly might get on the back of that. So I was with the 2 Jamie. So Natural's impressed me in a couple of runs. I thought that even though awkwardly drawn, could get a bit of cover and find the line nicely for Rahul B. Harry. Outside of that, the 12 Smokehouse Bay. I've always had a bit of time for this horse. I think it gets great cover just in behind him. And then, look, Carson River did enough to get me again at its most recent start, but I'm not 100% sure the horse is overly honest.
Okay, well, he'll catch you by the eye, though, because he's a gorgeous-looking animal, is Carson River, Jason. I was really keen on the chances of Tom Brown in this race. I feel like third up to 1,400 will be perfect for him. The roughie, the absolute blowout, though, is Lady Byron. It's around $35. She's second up. If not today, keep an eye on her in your race tracker.
The first race there is brought to you by the Recruitment Network. The second race is the New Zealand Bloodstock Insurance, and this is how the market shapes up for this event over 1,800 metres for the rating 82 gallopers, or benchmark 82 anyway. Wide Awake is 380 with Irish Flame there at 420. Blue Lagoon is at 7. It's been a bit hit and miss, Blue Lagoon. She's run some really good races and some ordinary ones, and I wonder whether that's track condition related in many respects as well. Chic there at 8. Rosie Myers rides for Kevin, and then you've got Kilowatt at bigger odds. Stephen Hunt, has there been much action around Irish Flame or Wide Awake? I'm pretty sure both would be popular with you from a betting perspective.
Firstly, touching on the second favourite, Irish Flame, who finished a lot of multis on day 1, with Jonathan Parks doing the riding. Cameron Lammas does the riding here. Jay Parks up north, obviously, around Irish Flame. I think it's pretty solid at $4.20. The one they're very keen on is the favourite in Wide Awake, the son of Zavabeel. Matty Cameron pick up right here for Wide Awake. And I think the key aspect, and it'll be interesting to hear the boys' thoughts around this runner, is the improved track. Just didn't cope that slow track on the first day around Wide Awake. They've come hard, $4.80 in one full point to $3.80. Couple they have also Spec Residential, sits in that same profile as Wide Awake. We'll appreciate the better footing today. And also Kilowatt, opened at a peak of $23. It's now trading at $14. It's a must include around exotic bet types, Kilowatt.
is by Shocking Kilowatt and has run some good races, been in pretty consistent form without having won recently. Okay, this is how the speed stacks up, and I see it as quite a tactical race. I don't see there really being much speed, and it's moderate, or marked as being moderate. How about for you two? How did you see this, Matt and Bevan?
Well, I suppose, Bevan, I'll ask you the question. Irish Flame, he hasn't been able to cop a draw, comes up with one. What are you expecting from him coming out of that barrier?
Look, this is another step up, so that is tough, but he's a tough galloper, as we saw on last Saturday, where he came from last, basically, and got there in the last stride. Look, I thought you could back both the favourites in this race and more than likely make a profit. I saw a little bit more speed than Jason with Sanazar, locally sourced Kilowatt, probably pushing forward. So I thought there was good to moderate speed in this particular race. You'll pick up Irish Flame coming to the outside. Now, Tavagard will go around. Look, he's got his head on the side again, Tavagard. He's got a lot of ability. It's just getting him to run straight, and he's later on in the program. I think there's a bit of confidence there, but Matt, what do you take out of this? He's trying, isn't he? He's just giving everything he's got, and it was a tough run. That's a question mark for me, but Johnny Wheeler, the polish, it probably gives you a bit more confidence. You'd think there he's not winning, but he just toughed it out, this horse, and he's been tough this whole campaign. His fresh out run on a wet track was really good, and that didn't flatten him, so I think he's a horse that's going to carry on with it.
Obviously good enough to race in the Derby, Bevan. The 1800's a little bit different to the 1400, but I'm sure we're going to get a bit of a lead come start time watching the market around that horse. Here's another race worth watching. Blue Lagoon finishing into second. Michael Coleman will now do the riding of this horse and replace him. They've Danielle Johnson. What do you make of her?
Well, she's been a little bit disappointing for mine. I thought she got through that gap where Wide Awake has no gap, and then went up to win and just didn't really get the job done. You see the horse to the inside, and the Pitman come is about to really dig and fight. Now, she should have won from there. She really should have won. She went up, I don't know, she really wanted to run through the line. The horse in behind him, I think that was the unlucky one. I think if he'd got into a gap at the right time, then he probably would have gone very close, if not winning that particular race. So, look, I couldn't really steer you away from those two. I thought the price on the 10 was very good, and that has shortened up. Over the 6 Irish Flame, I thought the 7 Residential. This horse, I think, will tighten up here this afternoon. It's in good form. And then, look, I'm going to throw you one at value. I quite like Shanzino. This is a horse that's always shown a fair bit of ability. I think it will improve into this run, and it's around about $15.
Jason, did you have anything in race number 2 worth noting?
I was considering Chic from that draw to get a nice soft run. The thing with her is she does need to be presented at the right time. She ran a really good race behind Remington, and I've liked how he's progressed. So at odds, a small each way on Chic, but not a massive amount of confidence in that particular race. Race number 3 stacks up like this. It's over the 2,500 metres for the rating 82 gallopers. Samantha Collett, when she joined us at the start of the program, suggested that Commander Lincoln was one of her best on the card. Oligarch is the favourite at $4.50 and looks like it's coming into form at the right time. Stephen Hunt, obviously scratchings have reduced the field size. What's the market telling you at the moment?
Fairly even, Jace, without a clear lead. Olgarich favourite at $4.20 off a peak of $4.80. Wazuzu sits in that second line of betting with Abacus. Now, Abacus is an interesting runner because on the middle day, it was heavily punted and raced below betting expectation. Abacus, and they have come again at the $5 quote off a peak of $5.50, so a little bit of forgiving there, the punters on number 9, excuse me, and Abacus. Yamato Nadashinko could have got $10, double figures this morning. It's now come in to $7.50, up a couple of grades, but punters believe that's no concern around the 8. A little bit of speaking on Commander Lincoln. If this race was to jump right now, it is our biggest liability, but no way out of control on Commander Lincoln, who's one of 2 runners for the Lisa Ladder stable today.
The speed for this race you'd expect would be a little bit muddling, small field, 2,500 metres, but Abacus looks as though it will get the opportunity if Cameron Lammer so desires to maybe roll forward, according to the Form Pro speed map. Yamato Nadashiko you'd expect would be, contesting the lead there, so it might be that those lines are reversed from what we've seen of Yamato Nadashiko and how Tanya Yonka has ridden the daughter of Ekra. Any further thoughts to this?
Yamato Nadashiko will lead, Jason. The question is it going to be an uncontested one?
Well, I didn't see Abacus there, to be fair, so I'm against that to speed map myself. I thought this was just a race where if a jockey wants to take it by the scruff of the neck, you can probably win this race because they're all get-back horses, and You've got Commander Lincoln, Oligarch, Abacus, Zuzu likes to take a sit, Smiling Assassin, not really want to push the button. So I was with you. I thought Yamato Natashiko might be wanting to go forward. Lightweight, Maddie Cameron, good aggressive rider. He'll sit there, control tempo, and be very tough to roll. I think the best horse in the race for me maybe was Zuzu. It's hot and cold, but the money has, on a couple of occasions, this preparation comes strongly. It was very good early on in the prep. You see Abacus getting into it with Zuzu. I think this is probably the race they've set this horse for, and it races in the colours of Rosie's late father, so I think they'll be wanting to get a win on a big day. Could have done more this day, I will say that. Could have done more. It only really got to the line lightly, but it was the sort of horse who I think will improve into this afternoon. So I put Wazuzu on top out of this particular race, and I think they'll take some money on it late.
You'd imagine that the Major Tom form would stack up, Bevan, in a horse that finished second to it last start as Oligarch. Now, he's a 6-year-old entire by O'Reilly. He's always a horse that I've wanted to see over these sorts of trips. He's probably been well found in the market and somewhat of an opportunist, but based on this run of the former ad Major Tom, surely he rates well in this.
Yeah, he does. Like, he'll step up to the 2,500 metres, which will be just a slight question mark. I personally don't know a lot about this particular horse, but you mentioned Major Tom, and look, he's at the top of the handicap for the Cup, so it's got to be a good, strong fork, and this horse really did actually stretch out nicely.
Yeah.
You see it attacking the line, so you don't think that Feather is going to be any sort of major problem, but it's going to be back in the tail of the field, so I just get a feeling that someone's going to take this by the scruff of the neck and be hard to beat. I went with Wazuzu. Look, I thought the 9 Abacus in the mix. Yamato Natashiko is the price of Maddie Cameron, or Tenya Yonka, sorry, is going to take a little bit of an aggressive approach. Outside of that, yeah, Oligarch is in the mix. I thought this was a tricky race, and maybe if you lead up, control tempo, you'll be winning. Yeah,
well, potentially, Jason, it might be the sort of race where you put a horse like Yamato Natashiko through your place multis. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's a race that I want to bet too heavily into based on the lack of exposed form over this trip, and it's just a little bit too hard to work out. But if I had to have something, I might put Yamato Natashiko just through a small place multi.
I'm with Sam Collett myself, happy to spec Commander Lincoln, particularly at that price. I think that he's better than a runner's chance, the Lisa Latter trained runner. Okay, to race number 4. It's a 1400 metre open handicap, and at the top of the book you've got Scopola Gallant Boy, son of Maher, with apprentice allowances courtesy of Widamu Pin, Corey Campbell and Kavish Chowdhury. Brett Murray also takes a couple of kilos off Flying Sardine, which will really suit her. She's there's not much of her, so weight is probably more significant for her than it is for others. But Capricosa is the 320 favourite, is $2.90 the totalisator, and has the tap continued to flow? Have you been able to turn off the money for the 12 here, Stephen?
Continuing to flow, Jason, but just dribbling at the moment. Hopefully we'll turn off that tap at some stage, because it is really one-way traffic around Capricosa. She profiles well in this particular race on the minimum of 53 kilograms. Senior jockey Michael Coleman, second up form is impeccable around Capricosa. The daughter of Alamosa, 5 wins from 20 starts. Up against a few horses here, they have to carry a fair bit of pudding, even though they've got the claims. Son of Maher, second favourite at $4.20, beaten up by the Te Akau Shark during the week. No interest there, out to $4.50. Gallant Boy looking for 10 wins, the 8-year-old. A bit of specking around there during the week around Gallant Boy. A new horse to the carnival, $7.50 into $5.50. So outside Capricosa, that is the only other runner that's coming from an opening line. And also a bit of specking for He's Gold, I should mention, at $26. But really, it's only about one horse here. Number 12, Capricosa.
Yeah, very significant Capricosa, Scopola and Gallant Boy nearing the head of the market, or heading the market, is Capricosa and Scopola Gallant Boy right there too, new to this meeting. He's Gold Tom Jones with the speed map runners to go forward. Capricosa, touch awkwardly drawn, Gallant Boy there, and Timmy Tyler. What are you thinking here, Matt?
Look, I'm feeling as though Son of Maher is quite well in at the weights. You're at a disadvantage with a 4-kilo claim on compared to a senior jockey, obviously, on big days like this. But I can't help but warm to the horse with those 4 kilograms off his back based on the races that he comes at. He comes out of a Copeland's Bakeries mile into this race, an open handicap where he weights okay with Scopolo being in there. There is the question mark, though, over the 4-kilo claim. Bevan, what do you make of Capricosa? Is she too short at the 320?
For me, she is. Look, in my map over the 1400 metres, I think there's quite a chance that it will get caught 3 wide in the run. There is a chance of cover. Maybe Timmy Tyler, if he pushes forward, might give her a bit of cover. Look, she does have very good ability. She's won 5 from the 20 in this run in behind Yearn. It's pretty good form. Yearn is a smart sprinting type of horse, there's no doubt about that. And look, she's dived up the inside there, travels with the Williams. They know this place as well as any trainer in the South Island. So, yeah, I think she'll go close, but certainly I'm not interested in taking as short as 3.2 on her.
Co-trainer Dawn Williams, the first female in the history of New Zealand thoroughbred racing to get to 1,000 winners during the week, and they've got a couple of chances on the card today, including Media's Sensation. Here's Gallant Boy, victorious. Now, this was at his last start. Beats home Princess Brooke, a horse who raced okay on the first day. He's a horse that follows speed quite well, Bevan. Have you found a spot for him in this race?
Gallant Boy, no, I don't have him in my 4 selections, but you can't have them all.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought this was a really good performance from this horse. It looks as though he's got a fair bit of tough attitude about him as well. So, look, I know you like the price son of me here. Look, I'll shop Skipole at $7 in this type of race every time he lines up. Remy Pym will really suit this horse. He is a very progressive apprentice. A couple of occasions he's been here at Riccarton and he's just been in pockets and brick walls and not won, but he's also got a really good record here. He may not be at his best into this season, but at $7, I'm willing to go with him. Yes, son of me here, I agree with you. Down at the 53.5, he's got to be a good chance. I do worry about the apprentice is on a senior horse like this, and he's got a few tricks around him. I thought Capricosa has to be certainly in the mix, and I did throw in Gallant Boy the 2 for my 4th selection, but look, I love the value around Skipole.
Jason, I think Capricosa is the top selection, but in terms of a betting prospect, I'm willing to shop around Son of Mahir as a small spec. What did you think of the 320 around the favourite?
I'm really keen. I'm really keen even at 320 to be climbing aboard Capricosa. It looks like a well-planned piece of placement from Team Williams. Her second up record's outstanding. The only time she hasn't won second up was behind Love Affair when she was 4th, and she was well beaten, but just in front of her, the Justice League and also subsequent Group 1 winner and Device. The draws may be a bit of a trick, but I think she can settle midfield, swoop centre track, and I think she'll be winning today. Capricosa, of what I saw fresh up from her. Let's push on and have a look at the next race on the program. It's the Barneswood Farm Welcome Stakes. Miss Fedra's the 240 favourite, 340 for Charla. Touch a Beal at $3.60, and this is where we need you, Stephen Hunt. We need the money lead here because some of the exposed form is very thin.
Well, let's touch on the exposed form, race day form around Charla and Miss Fedra. Miss Fedra holds 3 times more money than Charla, who did beat it last start. So punters believe the finishing order last start will result again this afternoon. Miss Fedra, $2.40, well backed from an opening line of $2.50. In front of Charla, $3.40, holds that second line of betting. Now, there's 3 horses here that have yet to be exposed on race day. Spur Road, 26 out to 31, so friendless there on the first starter. All About Magic, solid at $12, but it was as short as $10.50 during the week. The one I should mention is Touch a Beal out of the great mare, the Group 1 winning mare, Final Touch. Has been very well supported in that third line of betting. A lot of people suggesting this horse can beat the race day experience around Miss Fedra and Charla. So Touch a Beal, just keep on an eye on its price throughout the day. But at the moment, $3.60, third best back runner.
Okay, Matt and Bevan, 2-year-old race here.
Tricky one, Jason. I suppose we go around the race day form and watch the money around the first starters especially. Obviously, you've got Touch a Beal, who's very well bred. Savabeal, Final Touch, 2-year-old filly. Charla, Miss Federer. If you had to pick one, who are you going with?
Miss Federer. I find it difficult to actually see the finishing order being challenged, really. Charla travelled like the winner on the inside. Miss Federer just out-toughed it. This is Touch a Beal. Now, hard to take a lot out of a 900 metre trial with just 3 in it, but there's a bit of quality there, Matt. She's obviously got a bit of mum's ability. Dad is a fair sort of sire as well, so it's got all sorts of blue blood on its side, and there's ability there. I think you have to go the race day form though. I think race day form really does stack up here. So I was with the 3 Miss Federer. Over, Touch a Beal, throw it in there for second. Here is that particular race. Charla to the inside, Miss Federer to the outside. I didn't mind the work late of the Go Racing horse and Sanctify out wide as well in this particular race. But here, you think Charla's going to find a kick and win. But Miss Federer is just tough. The Go Racing horse, quick in for about 4 strides, just got a little bit unbalanced off that lead leg. So yeah, 3 to beat 6 to me. I thought the 1 Cello, the 7 Sanctified, just quite like what it did out wide late in that race.
I don't mind Diva Express either. It's a horse who's got to obviously sort out what's happening upstairs and become a racehorse. But I think when it does, the daughter of Sham Express with a couple of runs under her belt might surprise. It's a race, Jason, where I want to watch the market leading up to start time and take a lead on that.
Okay, thanks Matt, thanks Bevan. We'll push on to race number 6 of 11 there at Riccarton, and this is how things shape up for this event. And the Lambing Racing Premier has joint favourites Barabbas in Conclusion, 8 for Sacred Desire, 950, he's our secret, and Vendima, who again is not drawn well. This will wear the green Bermster Ball colours, Barneswood Farm. Neil Ridley, the trainer, with Lisa Allpress riding here. Stephen, it's a 1200 metre race for the rating 72 gallopers. You've framed the market up that has joint 6 to 1 favourites. Any money leads at all?
Barabbas, who sat in that second line of betting for the majority of the week, Jason, is now $7 each of 2 with Conclusion. So there's your move around Barabbas. $7 holds around about 3 times more money than Conclusion, who was a winner on the first day, even though stepping up in grade, not friendless. Sacred Desire in that third line of betting, $8. He's our secret, interesting runner. Another runner we'll touch on that will appreciate the better footing after day 1 being scratched. He's our secret, $9.50. Plenty of support there. Vendima, who's second up. A lot of people suggesting there's improvement there. Currently a losing result at a $9.50 quote. Outside that, a lot of these middle markets, these horses sitting in the teens have been quite friendless. So might be a case where Barabbas in Conclusion shorten from their current quote of $7 later on this afternoon.
Okay, how about the pace? This is the Form Pro speed map here on the Punters Lounge Live with Ottavio, a runner that was maybe just a little bit disappointing when well supported last week. I think that'll do. Absolutely blew that field off the racetrack. Ottavio, one of the leaders. Miroslava Strohan there, a Timo. You've got Where Angels Walks. Getting nice runs, I think, just in behind them include horses like Conclusion, even though drawn wide. Barabbas as well falls into that category. How did you sift through the form and sort this out here, Matt?
Well, the speed is a big factor. You know, I'm very keen on Vendima. I think that the Barneswood Farm team can have a fantastic day. Capricosa, Media Sensation, and Vendima, 3 very, very smart horses. I feel as though Vendima doesn't actually have to improve a whole lot off its first up run. And the race was just not run to suit. Here it is getting back. It wants clear air. It wants the first 600 metres run at a really good tempo so it can get into its rhythm and really finish off. It's a horse that's been getting back off the tempos when it has won its races. Just take a look at this horse here, Bevan. We sat here on last Saturday. We watched it because we were obviously quite keen on the horse. Nothing really went its way, did it?
No. Look, this horse will get back, but there's just enough speed, as you saw from that speed map, to ensure that this will be run at a very, very good clip. And this horse has got a lot of talent, as we saw through the end of last preparation. As far as a fresh up run goes, it's very, very good. So it will improve. There's no doubt about that. I'm not sure it really has to, as you mentioned. I thought that was a really, really good run. Because part of my $100 strategy, I want to back 2 in this race because Barabbas is going to put itself forward and get cover, and then Vendima is going to be back. This is Conclusion. This is a good win from Conclusion, and it was pretty soft at the line when presented it. It sort of put itself right through the gap and then delivered really, really nicely. So it also is in my thought processes here. But the 2 Barabbas, from that gate, I think it will posse up forward with cover. It's got form behind Ocean Tattle Do, Prince Oz, William Wallace. That's good enough for me, and the price is okay. And then back Vendima as well, because it'll get back, and the speed in that race will ensure it can hit the line. So I'll back both of those 2. Look, outside of that, I'm wondering about Miroslava at a massive price, because it should posse up with a fair bit of cover. And I'll put in Conclusion as well, because its run day number 1 was too good to ignore.
And just another horse I want to make mention of here, Jason, Mr. Typhon up the top of the book. I know that the Pittman team this time last year was suggesting that he was a horse that would be good enough to take on a Pegasus Stewards sort of type race and be competitive. Here he is slotting into a rating 72. Yes, he's got a 4 kilo claim on his back, but I just really think on spec that this horse is really well in Mr. Typhon, and Sacred Desire, the other horse who deserves a little bit of respect. But for me, Vendima, you know that I'm a fan of the horse. I'm a massive fan of the price. $9.50 for me is an over based on the speed. The fact that she's on the 7-day backup, I really think she'll relish today. And the Barneswood Farm colours might have a field day here at Riccarton Park.
You speak of Mr. Typhon, it was a year ago that BB Hong climbed aboard and they pulled off a massive result with Mr. Typhon winning a very similar race. Just a case of how the horse backs up from that Wednesday effort in the Stewards. All right, let's go to the Group 1 now, and this brought to you by gavelhouse.com. With $2.20 Expression, Melt 3, Media Sensation 5. Stephen, we've talked quite a bit about this market already. Any sort of changes in the last hour?
Very solid, and it's been that way for the majority of the week, Jason. On the back of a futures market, which you normally get when progressing into a final field betting concept. Expression, $2.30, peak, now trading at $2.20. Melt, $3, she's rock solid at that opening line, but well backed. Expression at the moment holds 2 times more money than Melt and Media Sensation. She's going to be the one out of the top 3 that's going to be clearly running for us. A little bit of specking around Mohaka at $61, currently a losing result. And also we do have a few specials running through this particular Group 1 affair over the mile. Top 5, we have a Quinella, option 618, Melt Expression at $2.80, and a fair few more as well. Just look on your website.
Yeah, tab.co.nz will be showing a feature with Melt and Nigel Tiley in the build-up to the Group 1, and this is the speed map with Mohaka and Weka Force expected to go forward. Dream Tester. Emily Margaret should get one of those nice runs in transit. Dawn Williams was hopeful that Media Sensation will be able to posse up in the first 4 or 5. Looks quite a nice shape to this, Matt and Bevan, this Group 1 and the map.
It does, Jason, and with Mohaka drawn the inside, at least we know we're going to get some sort of genuine speed. Melt is the first horse we're going to highlight here, Bevan. This horse brings all of the form lines, but the question mark is, it's almost 6 weeks since her last run. Is that something that is against her today?
In general, you would say yes, but the man that trains this particular horse is, again,
he's a genius.
Yeah,
absolute
he's a champion trainer. So make no mistake, it'll be ready to go 1,600 metres. This is the benchmark race.
Yep.
Madison County to the outside. She's come with it. Sue Nate's back and behind them, running 3rd last Saturday. This is the form race. So I don't understand quite why Expression is so dominant in the market. Melt's got a gate. She'll posse up a little bit further forward. I've got a couple of slight question marks around Expression running the 1,600 metres. I'm not sure next season she'll be up at that sort of trip, more of a sprinting type of horse, but you know, against your own year group, you obviously can get that mile just a little bit easier. It is an outstanding trial, but it's just a trial. You'd expect her to do this in this sort of trial day at Monte Carlo. If she wasn't doing this, you'd be concerned.
In general, do you think that 1,000 Guineas horses go on to be good milers? Or is there this conception that the 2,000, 1,000 Guineas sort of summer, spring type 3-year-olds end up getting back and being most competitive at 12 to 14?
Yeah, a little bit of that. A lot of times in recent times, 3-year-olds that have come down here haven't really backed up into the end of their season. I'm not sure why that is, whether it's the travel early on in their 3-year-old preparation, but we have found some nice milers come out of the Guineas, there's no doubt about that, but just against their own age group, they get through the mile without actually truly getting it into the next preparation. So, look, I'm going to stick with Melt, and I have everything crossed that Sam gets her Group 1 this afternoon, and she deserves it with what she's done over the last couple of seasons, but Melt just has the form for me, over Expression, so the 1, the 2. Valali, I'm very interested in Valali, out of the right barn. I thought it was game. I think it will clearly run over the 1,600 metres. And then Media Sensation. Gee, we heard something there from Dawn Williams. Putting that horse up against one of the very smartest ones they've had in recent times. Really pricked my ears up. So, yeah, I'm with 1 to beat 2. Valali in the mix and 3 Media Sensation.
Yeah, the 3 up the top of the book are the obvious here, but potentially Mohaka might map to get a good run, and if they back off in the middle stages, then it's certainly got enough of a turn of foot to be competitive. Jason, and 1 for you?
Oh, look, I'm with Expression, but if any one of the top 3 won, I wouldn't be surprised. She's got that X-Factor Expression, but in saying that, Melt's run second to a Group 1 winner, and Dawn Williams this morning said that Media Sensation was as good as the 1,000 Guineas winner that they won with 7 years ago in Planet Rock. So all the best to all connections anyway, chasing that elusive Group 1 win, all black type in the gavelhouse.com 1,000 guineas. Okay, race number 8 is the first leg of the TAB Quaddie, the second Quaddie, and it's the Avon City Ford Wuhan Jockey Club Trophy Premier. I should have worn my ugly Wuhan tie that I got a few years ago that's might have gone with, no it wouldn't have. 12, Pin-Up Coke $5, $5.50 Tavigard, $7 word of mouth. Probably shouldn't verbalise what I was thinking there, Stephen. Tell us about the market.
They've been wanting the number 12 to get over to a mile this campaign, and it gets that this afternoon. And Pin-Up Coke, Jason, $5 you can see there on option 608 off a peak of $6. It's now clear-cut favourite, and what is a pretty competitive race. There's 2 or 3 they have spec, but clearly Pin-Up Coke is the way they're going with Chris Johnson aboard. Tavigard sits in that second line of betting at $5.50. A little bit friendless. There's potential for that horse to drift throughout the day. Word of mouth, we accepted a $1,500 bet as soon as betting commenced in this particular market on Thursday afternoon, Jason. Word of mouth at $8. It's now trading at $7. Had no luck on the first day. Gets a better draw here, and Lisa Allpress sticks aboard. Ivan Kane looking to go 3 on the bounce. Well spec'd at that double figure quote of $13. Currently a losing result, but it's back up to number 12, Pin-Up Coke, who I know Maddie has a high regard about.
Let's go to the speed map for this 8th race on the program, and it sees Flash Suggestion and Forged potentially going forward. And Forged, I was on Forged last week, and look, it was a game enough effort for 3rd. What do you do this week, Matthew?
You should have taken the place price, Jason. $2.90, I think he paid for running 3rd Forged. He slots into this race quite nicely. Up the top as the top weight, of course, but Pin-Up Cope, I thought she was over the odds in this run at Ashburton we're about to show you. She was cuddled up by Chris Johnson around the turn, and he elected to go through them. She finishes into a placing here, but she had the flashing red light. I want 1,600.
Yeah, and she's been kept away from the first 2 days of the carnival, so she's set to win here this afternoon. So this is a good performance. Look, Crossy, I think the mole, as you mentioned, and Stephen had mentioned, will suit down to the ground. She wasn't really asked late in this particular race. I think she'll go very close to winning. I had a lot of time for Tavigard on day number 1, so I've got to back up there. I thought Word of Mouth was a next up run in its most recent performance, and outside of that, look, don't give up on Forged. I expect it to run a really strong race here this afternoon. It's back to 72. It's getting weight off its back with the apprentice allowance.
I think my main concern around Pin-Up Cope here is her racing style. She's drawn a widest barrier draw. She might get back in amongst them. There's an opportunity here, I think, for a couple of horses at odds. Alana Rose, number 14, on the back up from her win at Motukarata. There's no reason why she can't win again. Anything could happen running number 16. Widamu Pin now picks up the ride aboard this horse. No weight on its back. Second up, was competitive in some nice stakes races through its last campaign. So it's another one to watch. But Jason, an open lot. I think that the race, in terms of the way that it unfolds, is going to be a massive factor for Pin-Up Cope.
Yeah, completely agree. To race number 9 in the 3,200 metre 155th running of the Christchurch Casino New Zealand Cup, where Filar is the $4 favourite. Mental Telepathy is $4.20, so the gap in betting between the two has narrowed. Daryl Bradley has picked up the ride with Danielle Johnson obviously not riding today, and a quick message from Danielle suggesting that there is a chance that she will need an operation on her collarbone over the next few weeks, but specialist advice to come about that. D&G there at 10, different track conditions for D&G, obviously a better track, a good 3, and if it doesn't rain, which we expected it won't, then quite different track conditions for D&G. That narrowing in the difference in price between Mental Telepathy and Filar, Steve, is that all money?
Yeah, it is, Jace. It's just happened in the last 30 minutes. Filar got as short as $3.60. Mental Telepathy was trading around about $4.50. So 4 plays $4.20 right now. Looking at their price tags, it works out to be the winner coming out of these two, a 45% chance. But looking at overall turnover, they hold 60% of the turnover currently that's been invested in the New Zealand Cup in the first 3 days. So that's probably suggesting that their prices are fairly solid and won't be lengthening anytime soon. Filar $4, Mental Telepathy $4.20. Major Tom sits in that 3rd line of betting at $8.50. Quite friendless, potentially running for us in Petone. little bit of specking around Monarch Shines, which has been talked about throughout the week. $21 off a peak of $33 is a terrible result in futures betting. I think a few weeks back was hovering around 80 to 1. Monarch Shines to take out the feature. And Duplicity at $26, currently a losing result. Punters willing to forgive on the first day. So best bet runner overall still Falar in terms of turnover, but just in the last hour or so, Mental Telepathy is really charging for that title.
Stephen, quick question before we look at the speed map. Multis in progress between Falar and also Mental Telepathy. Do they
I'm glad you brought this up, Jace, because there's a telling factor here. 300 multis on Falar compared to Mental Telepathy 400. And I've been in this office for a good 5 to 6 years now, and that's a strong indication that Mental Telepathy is going to really challenge favouritism come later on this afternoon.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay, this is the speed map, and you wish you could have probably a speed map that you'd look at after 200 metres and then one down the back straight, but that's not the nature of the game. Bizwinkle looks like it might be the early leader, Shantav and Sampson positioning up, and quite what Lisa Allpress will choose and be able to do on DNG. Will she look to replicate what happened in the Metropolitan or not? We don't get a snapshots at 2 or 3 different parts speed map for this, Matthew, but this is what we see after a few hundred metres.
Yeah, well, you turn back 12 months. Jason Tarn and Sam Spratt had the opportunity aboard Gobstopper to press forward, find the lead, as D&G did in the Metropolitan, and she's going to get a chance to do that on Bizwinkle, I think, as well. The 3,200 metres is a question mark, but here is the Metropolitan. Bevan, what do we take out of it? Slow tempo, D&G took control, was just too good.
Attacked the line better than any other horse in the race. Mental Telepathy's good out wide. Falar, look, it's hard not to tip him on top because I think he's really, really talented, but I'm not sure how brave he is. I know Jason Tarn 12 months ago was tipping D&G as having a chance in some pretty good staying races, and gee, it really kept rolling to the line. Falar's good. Mental Telepathy's hit the line nicely enough. A horse like Duplicity, I think, will stay the trip. Just in behind them. Gee, it's not the strongest New Zealand Cup we've ever seen. There's money for Monarch Chimes, and that would probably be an indicator. Look, I went with Falar, not backing it though. Mental Telepathy, I agree, it'll come into favouritism at some point in the race. I'm going with some money makers here in this particular race. Gorbachev is one horse, I think, that may just run the trip. He's always been highly touted, and as a 3-year-old, went very close into St Ledger over 2,500 metres, so I thought you could throw him in. What about old Sampson? I know he's up in the weights, but at least he's got a record over 3,200 metres in some nice races, so I thought he could be in the mix. I'll be throwing in Duplicity in my trifectas at a big price, and look, you know Monarch Chimes will stay, but I just can't back a $4 favourite in this particular race because anything could jump out of the ground and win.
I think it's one of those races, Jason, where the 3,200 metres, it's not necessarily going to be won by the best stayer. We see sometimes these races are run at such slow tempos during the middle stages. Horses get breathers, and not necessarily the best stayer will win. I feel as though a horse like Bizwinkle, if it's able to press forward and find the top here with Sam Spratt, who we know is so good in front, as we saw here 12 months ago, he might be one for odds.
Yeah, just on Falar, a positive about him is that he really did turn his form around last time after maybe being disappointing the start before. He looks to be heading in the right direction, and Stephen Marsh looks like he's going to have him peaking for the big dance, the Group 2 3,200 metre, the Group 3 rather, 3,200 metre Christchurch Casino New Zealand Cup. Okay, to the 10th race, and this is a quick look at the market for this event, which is over the 2,000 metres for the rating 65 gallopers, $7.50 Red River Rock and $8 for Tipping Point. Money, money, money here, Steve.
Just like the race 2, the rating 65 early in the program, hard to really give a punters a lead here. Punters and bookies struggling to target one particular runner. Red River Rock, $7.50. Best of the rest, Tipping Point at $8, probably holds the most amount of money in what I say is a light turnover race. We're trading this book at 121%, and for this part of the morning in this grade of race, that's very competitive, so we're encouraging betting here, Jason.
Okay, so the Speight's Premier market for race number 11, Torre del Greco, $7.50, Zakynthos there at $8. Any money moves here, Steve?
Yeah, there's a couple here I should mention quickly, Jason. Number 14, Miss Scandinavia for the Te Akau Barn. Maddie Cameron pick up ride in the last 24 hours. $7 favourite, now to $6. And that includes a $2,000 bet this morning at that $7 price. So that's made us move it in 1 full point, Miss Scandinavia. Caradrona has been well supported, that middle market at $10 off a peak of 13. A little bit of specking around Zakynthos at $8, who was specced on the first day. Was it the first day or middle day? I can't quite remember, but long odds. So they're backing up their money on Zakynthos. But overall, in order, best backed in the lucky last today, Miss Scandinavia in front of Caradrona.
Okay, thanks, Stephen Hunt. Don't forget you can go online to tab.co.nz and the Punters Lounge tab to get all the selections for Bevan Sweeney and Matthew Cross for the program. Summarise the day for us, Matthew. $100. How would you move it around and play?
Well, I love the $8.50 or the $9.50, I think it is, around Vendima. I think that the Barneswood Farm colours are going to have a fantastic day today with Media Sensation in the 1,000 guineas as well as Capricosa. Lady Byron in the first is the value bet. It's just gone past me. She does look better in terms of her fitness from when I saw her last time. Vendima melts 25 to 1 on her, and Filar 25 to 1 on it in the feature. Bevan, for you?
I'm very keen Strad today. I thought it was set up to win the second day. I said that last Saturday, so I'm not going to get off the ship there. So I'll be putting 40 to 1 on Strad. That price 13. I think that is outstanding. That's my best bet on the program. I thought the value was Miss Scandinavia. You can probably flip those around because Miss Scandinavia is half the price. Look, I'm going to back both Barabbas and Vendima in race 6. I want to back Strad in race 10, Miss Scandinavia in race number 11, and hopefully make a profit for viewers around the country.
Jason, is there one horse on the Riccarton Park card that you would like to back with some confidence today?
I'm pretty keen on Commander Lincoln each way, and I'm also keen on Capricosa as one of my better bets of the day. And if you're on one of the 1,000 guineas runners at odds, for example Expression at 7, you might be cheering that horse home as well. Matthew Cross, Bevan Sweeney previewing the card. Again, all their selections online, including their $100 spends on the Punters Lounge. That's tab.co.nz.